Yo, listen up. Here's a story about a little guy who lives in a blue world. An all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue, like him, inside and outside.
You done?
Blew his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. But he ain't got no time to listen.
I didn't even realize we were live.
We are.
Blue dabba dee dabba die dabba dee dabba die dabba dee dabba die.
You know, you bought him that thing.
I did.
This is your fault.
It was a
The
mistake.
show bought him that thing.
Yeah, well, somebody made the decision.
It is the show's fault. And
I placed the order.
from where did those dollars come from? The Patreon listeners. This is their fault.
All right, this is the after show.
Oh, yeah, that's
It
us.
is.
Welcome to the after show,
Yeah.
where CJ's making me host, even though he's
That's
right.
right.
He's right there.
Yeah, but he's
right
in
there.
Ohio.
I'm in Ohio.
There's something
You
in
can't
the
expect someone to host a show while they're in Ohio.
something in the show's constitution that says that we can't host from Ohio, or
Yes.
Being in Ohio is
Very
too
clear.
much effort.
it
Yeah.
does sound like a lot of effort to go to Ohio.
Yeah, that's just
Um,
it.
There's no
Yeah,
direct flight from Seattle. I have to
Is that true?
do a layover. Yeah.
You gotta like go to O'Hare or something?
No, not even that. It's either Detroit or tomorrow I'm going to Salt Lake City.
You should look up Mike Phillips.
Yeah.
I should, but I only have an hour. Salt Lake
Well,
City.
So that's his problem, not yours.
That's true. That's true.
He could go stand up at the window and you could wave to each other.
Yeah.
I'll wave to him out of the plane window.
Well, just tell him where you're going to be.
Nah.
Anyway, this is the after show. We don't have any games
No.
this week.
No.
We blame the listeners for that. And we don't have any
Oh my goodness.
review games set up because CJ couldn't have done that. He was traveling this weekend.
He's
Yeah.
in Ohio.
And Phil and I weren't going to do it. So,
oh no, are you crazy?
so instead, we pulled this out of our ass. We're going to talk about, no, just kidding.
It's timely.
Nintendo Championship.
Timely.
Yeah, the NES edition came out this week. Phil's about to show us the box. If
There
you're
it
watching
is.
this on video,
There it is.
Go
Look at
there.
that.
Nintendo
the
World
box.
Championships NES edition. The NES was
shiny.
a pretty important system
Yeah.
overall. CJ's typing. We can hear you typing, CJ.
Look at this. Look, it comes with a
Does that cartridge
shiny.
actually work?
No, it does not.
Lame.
It is an empty. Oh, look, you can see my Go XLR screen reflected in the shiny chrome NES cart.
Yeah. Well,
And oh, look
Pretty
at this
nice.
though. Look at this.
But it's
On the back of it?
non-functional.
No, it is non-functional. There is no chip inside. It does come with a little acrylic base that has the
That's
Nintendo logo on it,
cute.
Very cool.
and it can pop on there. And on the back of the cart, where the little like warning sticker is,
Yeah.
there
There's
are
icons.
little icons representing all the games
There's the Excite
Oh,
Bike
that's-
podium.
that are in the collection. Yeah, the Excite
I
Bike
see
podium. You got a little vegetable from Mario 2. You got a little
An eggplant. I see an egg.
yeah.
Tanuki leaf.
looks like, is that the poison marshmallow? Poison mushroom?
The poison
I don't-
marshmallow.
Oh, one of them is well, there's a little M tomato from Kirby.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, there you go.
That looks great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Can't
Oh,
see
it's
it.
it's an E tank, the little energy tank from Metroid.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So we thought, because we've done this a few times before, we would just reminisce a little bit
yeah,
about
The
our
NES.
memories of the NES, our experience with the NES. CJ,
Yeah.
I know you had an Odyssey 2, did you not?
I did. I had an Odyssey 2. That was the first video game system that my parents bought.
So when did you get an NES?
I got an NES.
Come on, you didn't prepare for this?
87. 87.
Okay.
Around the
an
time I
NES.
got one, I think.
And I first saw the NES at a friend's house. I was in the Boy Scouts,
Boy Scouts.
and one of the meetings was over at a friend's house, and he had an NES and Super Mario Brothers and Russian Attack, and I was flabbergasted by Super Mario Brothers. I thought it looked amazing. I couldn't
Yep.
believe
It did look
the
amazing.
graphics
Yeah.
was awesome. The platforming action was great, unlike anything that I'd played before. And I immediately began the campaign of bothering my parents for an NES. Right, as you do when
How long
you're.
did that take?
It didn't. It actually didn't take too long. Although, so at the time, the NES system was in short supply, high demand, short supply.
Mm-hmm.
But they did have at the time the control deck was like a separate thing that you could buy, right?
Mhm.
And
It
they
was
had
just
the
the
one.
system, wasn't it?
It was just the system,
Right.
yeah. I don't remember if it came with Super Mario Brothers or we bought it separately, but it didn't. Didn't come with the multi cartridge that had Duck Hunt on it or anything
Right.
like that. It was just Super Mario Brothers, and it was one of those situations where you would go to Toys R Us or go to Child World in the Midwest, another sort of Toys R Us like store, and they didn't have them, right? And there was one evening where my brother, my mom, and I were at Child World, and they had the NES.
Ooh.
This almost never happens, right? Like where you're there and they have the thing. And we were like, can we get one? Can we get one? Please. And my mom would never we never bought things. It was always like wait until Christmas or a birthday.
Oh yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, but the NES was the first time where she bought, they bought it for us, and it wasn't a it wasn't a holiday or a birthday, and it was during the summer, and we got Super Mario Brothers, and played the hell out of it for a long time. My brother at the time, he wanted The Legend of Cage.
Legend of Cage.
There it is.
Legend of Kage. Legend of Cage. He wanted the ninja game, so we got Legend
absolutely.
of Cage and Super Mario Brothers, and those were our first two
Ninja
games.
Garden.
We there was one night where my parents were going to some kind of dinner or event, and they decided to give us a game early, and that was Contra.
Oh,
Nice.
So we
And
got
you
to
had
play
a brother
Contra.
who played games, so you got to play that multiplayer.
Exactly. We got to play Contra together with, of course, the 30 lives trick, the famous Konami code, and that was fantastic. I believe that was a couple months after we got the NES, though. But it's kind of wrapped all up in that same memory because
Right.
that was, again, a time where my parents bought us games, and it was amazing. And yeah, I love video games because of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's
Because of that first instance seeing it, in fact. I can still remember what the setting was and all of that. It's like laying my eyes on the NES for the first time.
right.
yeah.
I've often said that too, because the NES wasn't our first console. We had an Atari 2600.
Yeah.
And we played it a fair amount, but it was something that you just turn on every now and then, when you weren't going outside to play or something like that. And I remember my my first stepfather, he had a 2600 with a bunch of games. So anytime we go visit my mom, and he liked to play them too, so when we went to visit my mom, we would sit with Ken and play 2600 games. But I liked video games, but they weren't I wasn't passionate about them. It wasn't I didn't go to a friend's house to play video games all the time or something like that.
Yeah.
But with the NES, that was when I fell in love with video games. Was playing that system. Yeah, and with us, I forget what year we got ours, but I remember the situation where we got it, which was kind of like what you were saying, CJ. My brother and I were begging for one for Christmas one year. We just wanted one so badly, and because everybody had them, it was like 87 or 88, so everybody had a Nintendo at that point, and we just wanted one. And I don't know if my dad actually tried to find one, or if he just decided that it wasn't, he couldn't justify it, wasn't worth the money or something like that. But anyway, it was hard to find. So Christmas came and went, and we didn't get one. But we kept begging for it and begging for it and begging for it. And it's kind of similar to what you just said, although we didn't just stumble across one in the store. We finally whittled my father's will down so much by begging for it that he said, I remember him vividly saying, like, if you can find one tonight, we will go get it. We'll go get it. And so we busted out the yellow pages, because that's how you found phone numbers. And we called every single department store and specialty store and everything in like 3 different cities nearby. And we found one. We found an action set, I believe is what they were called, with the ones with the zapper.
Yeah.
So we found one in the city across the harbor from us, called Dartmouth. And true to his word, my dad said, all right, let's go. And it was, of course, like late December, early January in Nova Scotia, so it was snowing. So in a snowstorm, we drove to the next town over, and we bought our action set and came home and hooked it up. And actually, I'm sitting in the exact spot I was sitting when I first played my NES right now. Wow. Because back in the day, this was our living room growing up, and our old floor model TV was literally right here where I'm sitting. And we fired that baby up, and my brother and I played Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt all night long. And with, of course, the zapper being so close to the screen that it was tinking off the glass of the...
Naturally, that's the only way to play.
And my father sitting there, like, talking to himself about how this was a good decision because it was good for hand-eye coordination and things like that. So, yeah, that's how we got ours. And for me, that the games, like you said, see, they're kind of wrapped up in the whole getting the system thing. For me, it was Zelda 2. And yeah, that was the big one, because my cousin, so that's whenever Zelda 2 was out, that was right after that is when we got our system. But my cousin had Zelda 2, and I watched him play it a few times, and he had all the Nintendo Power Flashes, which was what we had prior to Nintendo Power up here. And they had all the Zelda 2 maps from Nintendo Power in them. And he'd let me have, because he'd finished the game, so he'd let me have them and take them home before I even had a Nintendo. So I had to go out and get Zelda 2 because I had to play that. So that was like one of the first games. That and Simon's Quest were 2 of the first games we ever got for that system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly had the Atari growing up. I had the 2600. And when I went into junior high or middle school, I convinced my parents to buy me a Commodore 64, which I have talked about on the show many, many a times.
Yes.
Under the pretense of, I'm in junior high now. I'm going to need a computer to write papers and do homework on.
Shit.
But yeah, of course, it was just an excuse to get a computer to play games on, which I did extensively. I think I may have used it to write like 2 papers, and that was it. But, and that was in probably, it would have been like 85 when I talked him into getting me a computer. And because of that, I did not get an NES right away because, of course, right after I got my Commodore was when everyone else started getting their NESs. And of course, same thing. That first time you see Super Mario Brothers, just mind blowing. I mean, just the graphics were incredible. The music was unlike anything you've heard on a home video game system at the time. The just how expansive that game was,
Yeah.
just in terms of number of levels, all the secrets, finding secret passages by going down pipes or finding vines to carry you up into the clouds, all the hidden blocks. And the game just seemed impossibly deep at that time because it was.
Yeah.
And
Would
you
call it the
go
Dark
over
Souls
to
of Super Mario Brothers games.
Yeah.
what's that?
It's the Dark Souls of Super Mario Brothers games.
That was exactly how it was described in the box, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a little asterisks, Dark Souls to come at a later date.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I desperately wanted one, but of course, my parents are just like, well, we just bought you a computer. We're not going to buy you a new video game system. So I had to just go over to friends' houses and sleepovers to get my NES fix for the first couple of years of its existence. And finally, once I got into 8th grade, and Mario 2 was on its way out, and the hype for that was astronomical.
Through the freaking roof.
Yeah, I mean, it was everywhere. And of course, Nintendo Power, that's when Nintendo Power started. And so, you get that first issue with Mario 2 on the cover, and it just blew your mind. For as good as this first game was, this one's even bigger and better and multiple characters, and just it was so much hype built around that game. So I really started laying on the I need a Nintendo for Christmas, and they relented, thankfully. And I was able to Christmas of '88 is when I got my NES. I got the action set, like you, Greg, where you get the Mario / Duck Hunt cartridge. And I got a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2. And that, I mean, as much as I loved games from the Atari and old arcade games, which was a lot, it was the NES and Mario that really kind of sold me on the future of games.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, of course, we had the big video game crash in '83, and as a kid, the full ramifications of the industry crash did not hit me because I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
looking like I've brought that up to other people before, like looking back on that,
yeah.
like none of us would have really known that's
No.
all I remember is that Atari games got really cheap.
Well, that's just it,
That's
right?
what I remember too.
Yeah.
That's why my parents ended up buying an Odyssey 2, because it was like $15 and the games were $5 each or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were clearing it out.
Yeah. So, it was, it seemed like games maybe stagnated a little bit for the home.
Yeah.
Just like, like they're not coming out with a lot of new games as much as they used to. But, there's still arcade games and stuff. So like the idea of the industry crashed never really entered my head. But then when Nintendo shows up and Mario shows up, suddenly it's like, oh, games are getting better.
Games can be this.
Games can be this. Yeah. And
doesn't have to just be a high score chase.
Right.
It can be an adventure. It can be
that
anything.
was most of our experiences up until that point. I think too that what really changed there, and I think the three of us were at the perfect age to be part of this. Our friend Bill from A Gamer Look at 40, he likes to say this a lot, and I totally agree with him. Is that a lot of us grew up alongside games.
Oh yeah.
As games were growing up, so did we. But a lot of those early games, those 2600 games and everything, they were, not the kids didn't play them, but I always felt like they were built for adults. You know what I mean? Like arcade games really started out as more of an adult thing. I loved arcade
they were in
games when I was
bars
a
and
kid.
stuff.
Yeah, you know, that sort of thing. And the Commodore 64, I mean, you didn't buy, well, except for Phil's parents, you didn't buy a Commodore 64 for little kids. I mean, Phil was even in junior high, right? You didn't buy it for like 5-year-olds.
No.
Yeah.
But I think the brilliant thing that Nintendo did was market the NES as a toy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it got a bunch of very young children interested in video games. But alongside what you just said, Phil, where it's like, you know, it was at a whole other level. Like, you know, it was an evolution of what video games were at that point for a generation who had cut their teeth on like Pac-Man and Pong and Q-Bird and things like that. You know, it's not that those things weren't popular with kids, because I mean they all had Saturday morning cartoon shows on top of everything else. But like, man, Super Mario Brothers, nothing like it.
No,
up to that point.
Nope. But yeah,
true.
that absolutely.
And the crazy thing to me is how, I didn't really, and I don't know that any of us really noticed that a crash happened. Just that, like you said, we weren't buying new games, and we had all these cheap games that we would entertain ourselves with, like Pickaxe Pete on the Odyssey 2 and Quest for the Rings and all of those other Casey Munchkin type games, right? But when you look back on it, that decision to market the NES as a toy, how important that really was. And also Nintendo's dedication to family fun, I think, has fed them with new customers.
Oh yeah.
Throughout every generation, right? Like from the NES on. And they are doing more they're doing that MEO, the Smiling Man M-rated game, which maybe isn't a family game, but like you look at some of the Switch games that are out now and the people who get excited about that stuff. I don't know. There's a nostalgic feeling to me as a Nintendo fan of that same opening Nintendo Power for the first time whenever there's a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somehow they've kept that family image through all these years. But again, because all the adults now are the ones who were, 5 to 10 years old when they when they got big. But yeah, for me, and I think for a lot of us, games went from something that was cool and it was fun to play a new game to something where games were a going concern. Like my Christmas list had games on it, and I was interested in and I wanted to go rent new games every weekend. And you know what I mean? Like that wasn't something that was happening or that I was interested in or even that much aware of on the 2600. But that was like, for me, as far as the impact of the NES goes, that was probably the other major thing. Was like, I have lifelong friends that the whole reason we became friends was because we played Nintendo games together.
Oh
yeah. Like, almost right after getting ours, because I was, now that I think about it, I was in junior high as well. Because I remember being outside school and two people that we were friends, like the way little kids are friends when they've gone to school together since primary, like CJ and Kanye West used to go to each other's birthday parties and stuff like that. But, so we were friends in that way. But I remember two of them talking about some game. It was probably Zelda 2 being stuck somewhere. And I just inserted myself into the conversation. It's like, oh, I did that part. I know that. And one of them turned around and it's like, oh, you have Nintendo. I was like, yep. And like from that moment onward, Dave was his name. We are still, lifelong friends. I mean, from that conversation forward, we spent so much time together after that. Go sleepovers and renting games at National Video every weekend. And like, that's what we did. That was our friendship. And I mean, it launched multiple friendships like that.
It will do that.
Crazy. But to circle back around to the Nintendo World Championships NES edition, I think, obviously a lot of those games that we played on the NES are available through NSO. and I have played exactly 2 of them, I think, to the end. To the end.
Right.
The original Super Mario Brothers and Mario 2.
Okay.
Are the 2 that I've played all the way to the end on NSO. But I was going to say, like, the bite-size increments that you play games in the World Championships NES edition is nice for that, like, little taste of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I don't need to play through the whole game again, but, like, trying to refine my path for 1-1. There's something to that like really brings back you back in a way that I could play it on NSO anytime I want, and I'm not going to try to get the best time on 1-1. But the fact that NES World or the NES Edition World Championships is there, and that's one of the challenges, and I'm timed on it, and I kind of feel you get that feeling like you're 6 years old or 8 years old again, and you're playing this for the first time, trying to beat your friends' scores, even though there are no friends' leaderboards in it. But the feeling is still there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say.
That's all you had to say? That's all you have to say for yourself?
That's it.
So, did any of you dabble in Master System?
Not back in the day, no. I didn't know a single person who had a Master System.
I dabbled in Master System.
Did you?
Really? Did you own one?
I owned one. Yeah, I owned a Master System. I bought the set that had the 3D glasses and the light gun. And yeah.
The phaser? I think it was a phaser, wasn't it?
Something like that.
It was. I always thought it looked cooler than the Zapper, but
yeah, I loved video games so much that I bought the competing system because I wanted to play Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
And I thought, what was that? Oh, Atomic Fox? Is that another, like, the platforming games?
Psycho.
Yeah. Psycho Fox. That's right.
From Vic
Psycho
Tokai.
Fox. You know, I thought, and Alex Kidd looked like great games. Alex Kidd, I don't know about.
They did look nice.
Games. But those games looked better than NES games, so I thought, like, yeah, I'm interested in that. And yeah, Phantasy Star was the game that won me over. And also the better version of Double Dragon. Because I love Double Dragon on the NES. And then they brought out this version on the Master System where I was like, this is better than the NES version.
You know, that was a big
like,
thing.
How can that be? So I when I bought my Master System, there was a mail-in thing. You get Double Dragon for free.
That seemed like a big thing on the NES where the arcade ports changed so much, probably due to the limitations of the hardware.
Yeah.
But so often they were just really good games in their own right.
Yeah.
Like for me, Double Dragon is the NES game. I never played Double Dragon in the arcade. I never even saw Double Dragon in the arcade.
Me neither.
So when somebody said Double Dragon, like for me, the NES game is the origin.
Yes. Same.
Even though that's not real, that's not true, but I loved that game.
Hell yeah.
I knew one guy who had a Master System. And his name was Jesse, and I talked him into lending it to me for a weekend, and all he had was, I think he had Alex Kidd and Rampage.
Oh,
Rampage was good.
Yeah, I mean, hard to be worse than the NES version.
Right.
It was better than the NES version for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. But Alex Kidd was terrible. I couldn't stand it anyway. I didn't like it. I never liked Alex Kidd. But it's like, well, I've played that. I gave it back after the weekend was over, and I don't think I touched a Master System again for 15 years. That was it. That was my Master System experience. So
did I tell you? Well, so my family had a garage sale, and we sold the Master System. And somebody bought it, and they thought it was a Nintendo, and I was like, "Oh, this is so great! This person thinks that it's a Nintendo, and it's not." And man, I wish we hadn't sold that Master System because I had, the 3D glasses and the Zapper, or not the Zapper equivalent, and I wish we hadn't sold it now. So after that point was when I decided, well, I'm not going to like sell any of the games that I buy.
And you've been carting them around. Well, you were carting them around for
carting them around. Yeah.
decades since.
Indeed.
I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think I shouldn't say that because I did get into a situation where I was starting to sell my systems to afford new systems.
Yeah.
But then I kind of reacquired.
Remember that Funko commercial?
No, I don't. We didn't have Funko.
Oh, shoot. Well, maybe this was only in the where it was like hands came through a TV screen with money, with like cash. You give us your old games, we give you money. Like fan out money.
Cheddar?
Yeah. I always thought, who would do that? Because they were buying them back for nothing. Yeah. Anyway.
Nothing's better than nothing?
I guess that's true.
Something's better than nothing. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the NES, to be honest. I just I figured that the origin stories would be interesting enough. But I mean, it was so formative for me.
Yeah.
And then I jumped ship to Sega and never looked back. But until Sega was gone, and then I started buying Nintendo consoles again.
Well, of course.
Yeah. It's going to do it.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this. Thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully this time next week, CJ will be back home and feeling better. And I don't know. Is Phil, are you here next week?
What is next week?
I'm going to be on hotel Wi-Fi again next week.
CJ's going to be in hotel Wi-Fi again.
Well, Airbnb Wi-Fi. We'll see how
That'll
that
be
goes.
better.
I will be here next week.
All right.
The
think
week
we'll all be here.
afterwards, perhaps not.
Yeah,
But-
me neither. Come see me at Long Island Retro Games Conference Expo, whatever it's called. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.